How did you first find out that there was a problem at all?
The routine way, annual physical, and my doctor just said you have a bit of an elevated PSA. I'd like to send you to a specialist. Consulted with the specialist, a urologist. He recommended a biopsy, and the biopsy came back with some positives, and I thought I would just be fine because I've had that procedure done before. Not a pleasant experience. They make a follow-up appointment for a week after, and then you're supposed to wait for the phone call that says everything is fine, so cancel the appointment. Instead, my phone call was those 3 words nobody ever expects to hear. You have cancer.
What did you think at that moment? What went through your head as you hear those 3 words, like you said, that no one ever expects or wants to hear?
Does that mean I won't live as long as my papa? Because we've been blessed with a good Hormann lifeline. My dad lived into his late 80s. My uncle lived into his mid-80s. His dad, my grandpa, lived into his 80s. And I thought, blessed with that, blessed with good health, I'd have a shot to live into my 80s, and that's the first thing I thought, wow, what's going to happen next?
Was it an extra added surprise because you were in such good health, some of the best shape of your life, you said? Did it come as an added surprise then that you can be in such great personal physical health and yet get that news?
Megan, it hit me right between the eyes. I mean, talk about knocking the breath out of your body, your knees buckling, because not only do we have a history of long family health, I was in wonderful health, and there is no history of cancer in my family. So you just never know. You know, now doing all the research and knowing about this even more so than in the past, 1 in 6 men are affected by this, and I'm now one of the 6.
And you are taking this opportunity to continue to get that awareness message out there, to let other people know that they do need to go in and get their exams, because that's exactly how you caught it. What is that message that you want to continue to put out there for people as they're watching this?
Well, here's the irony of the whole thing. 3 years ago, I started a golf outing. I've seen the success in this community of Vera Bradley, the wonderful job they do with increasing awareness and everything and all the dollars they raise and donate for breast cancer. So I thought prostate cancer is one of those kind of under the radar diseases that nobody talks much about, because it is one of the most treatable. So I started my golf outing to generate funds to give to a local cancer service here for men who are fighting prostate cancer, to increase awareness and help with treatment and all the things that go with that. So imagine my surprise that now I'm going to be an ambassador for it, and if there's any single thing I want to do with the rest of my life is early detection. Get your regular checkups, get your physicals, and then make sure your PSA is checked if necessary. Go through the proper procedure, get the biopsy, because by doing what I was supposed to be doing, I found out I had cancer, and I found out it was in a relatively early stage. And so with the rest of my life, early detection, routine exams, and then hopefully after that it can be treated and you can beat it.
How are you going to beat this, Kent? What do you do from here? What's the plan?
Well, the plan is ever since I was diagnosed back in the fall, we were keeping a close watch called active surveillance, where I would do some more periodic PSAs, and then I actually felt compelled, because my PSA was continuing to elevate, to have another biopsy. More positives were detected, so I'm choosing, okay, let's go after it. And here in the very near future, I'm going to have what they call the Da Vinci robotic surgery, and that's the treatment I'm choosing, to hopefully remove it, and then hopefully it will be out of my body.
Excellent. So what are your thoughts and your doctor's thoughts going into this surgery? I understand you guys are pretty optimistic. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, you should always be optimistic, no matter what kind of a condition you're fighting. Going into a surgery, it's obviously very scary. I'm thinking, okay, I'm a day closer to that surgery. Hopefully I'm a day closer to being cured as well. But you have to go in with an optimistic attitude. You really do. The doctors and everybody in this community have given me tremendous support. So some people say that I'm very strong-willed. Others would say bullheaded. I'm going to beat this.
Why did you choose to come out with this information now? I understand your sports radio show, SportsWise, is wrapping up at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Did that play a role in it? Why now?
Two reasons it did. It wasn't like I was using the radio show as a forum for this, but each year as my golf outing was getting close, I would encourage people to participate so that I could get the 28 to 30 teams, and I've had great corporate support, great donor support, great sponsor support. Everybody has really raised up to be part of this golf tournament, and the winner is the fight against prostate cancer. Very good friend of mine, Blake Sebring from the newspaper, the News Sentinel, came to me and he said, look, he said, I know you've been trying to keep this to yourself and as down low as possible. He said, I think now is a great opportunity to do some positive with this. You know this as well as I. It's the price of being in the media, of in TV being on camera, in radio being on the air. There's more of an opportunity to reach more people, send more of a message, and he made perfect sense. So I thought, if anything I can say to anybody to get them to the doctor just for their regular checkup, that's where it begins.
Now that it is out there and people are talking to you about it and
Yeah.
approaching you about it, what's that like? Not only to have to discuss this openly, but also to feel all of that support from so many people in this community who love you and care
Yeah.
about you and are wishing you well during this time.
The great thing about my hometown, you know, some would say we're a big small town, but it's home. And just the other day I was having breakfast with some of the Comets legends, and this is before this is starting to come out, and this guy jumped up out of his booth and I thought, uh-oh. And he said, I've been wanting to shake your hand for years. And I said, well, thank you. And he wanted to thank me for getting him through the blizzard of '78 when I was just starting in the business, which means the people in this community have long memories and great memories. So as this starts, and there have been a few people who, as it started to come out, they've just come up and they shake my hand or they pat me on the back and they said, I know you and I know you'll win.
That's very true. So the overriding message, just to wrap things up, is that people really do need to take this seriously.
Yes.
They need to pay attention. If you could just drill that into people's mind, what is the one thing that you really want people to take away from this whole experience? When they think back on you and your experience, what do you want them to know?
I think the bottom line is it can happen to you. There are challenges in life, whether it's health, whether it's career. A lot of times I always put things in sports terms. You can be dealt a lot of curveballs. You have to stand in there, try to take your best swing and hit it. And so the bottom line is, Megan, it can happen to you. So in the case of this, of your health, do what you're supposed to do. Go to your doctor for your annual checkup. And as they say, the earlier the better. The earlier they find something like this, the better the chances of treatment and hopefully curing it. The one thing that I've had the chance and Lutheran Health Network and Indiana's News Center have absolutely been linchpins of getting behind the Blue Ball Open. We've had a lot of fun with it, but there also has been a lot of support for it. And every single penny raised from this outing stays in Fort Wayne and goes to one of our local cancer service agencies.